Well, hello again, everybody. The History Guy here. I just want to say I appreciate all the attention that these couple of videos on this mod have gotten. And I wanted to do another one. This is North and South, the American Civil War II. It's a mod for Napoleon Total War. First of all, I want to give a shout out to the creator of the mod who has been by the channel and has put some comments, and I pinned his comment at the top of my first impressions video because I wanted everyone to make sure that they saw what he had to say and explaining a little bit of some things I didn't talk about. And I want to say, first of all, my intention with my first impressions video was not to do a comprehensive review of the game. Number one, I'm not familiar enough with the game or with the mod to be able to do that. But number two, I just really wanted people to see just what I first saw. And I really didn't even scratch the surface of all that this mod has to offer. And so I want to do a little bit more of that now to let you see really kind of the meat and potatoes of this mod and where it really shines, because it's a fantastic mod and there's so much to it. So really where a lot of the work has been put into this mod and where you really can see a lot of the depth of it is in the scenarios that have been created. Now, in order to find those, you can do those as a multiplayer, person versus person, or you can do them yourself against the AI. So I'm just going to show you an example of that here. And what you do is you go into the multiplayer, but we are playing single player, go to local network, and then just host a battle, and then we can click on scenario. And now you can see all of the available scenarios that there are. And what makes these scenarios really special is that every single one of them, they've gone in and taken the time to build the armies as they actually were at these battles. So when you go to Antietam at the cornfield, you're using the exact regiments, the exact generals who were at the cornfield at Antietam on that day. They've gone in and they've put all the units in there. They've put them where they're supposed to be with their proper numbers and everything, and it's really just fantastic to play. I played through Pickett's Charge yesterday, a 3 versus 3 battle. I was holding the center of the line for the Union. The 2nd Corps units right at the angle. And so here I am controlling units like the Pennsylvania regiments who are right there in the center, and Hazlitt's battery of artillery that fought furiously there at the center. And I can see the units from Pickett's division and from Pender's division coming right at me, and the artillery's flying, and it was just fantastic. Now, at some point I'll do a video of that, but I'm going to have to upgrade my equipment a little bit. I've got a decent system, but when you have 10,000 men on either side, it bogs down my system, and I can't do it justice. So I've actually dropped my my video specs down for this battle. I've dropped it to low, the graphics in the game, just so you can kind of see this without too much distraction of it being choppy. So I can pick any one of these battles and I can actually fight with the units who were there that day. So I just want to give you an example of what that can look like. So I'm going to pick something that's got a relatively small amount of units on the field as compared to some of them. So we're going to go to Manassas, and we're going to do a 1v1 Manassas. Now, you have here a choice. You can go small, medium, large, or ultra. Ultra, I'm guessing, would be pretty much man for man. So however many units that particular, or men that particular unit had, that's probably how many it's going to show on here. For the sake of just showing you what this looks like, I'm going to go to small, just so it runs a little better. So then I'm going to click on host battle. And of course it puts me on as the attacking unit, the Union. I'm actually going to switch this over to defending. They always recommend that if you're playing an AI, that you go as the defending side, just because of the way that the AI works on Total War. They tend to get really hyper aggressive, and so the game functions better if you play as the defending side. So I'm going to be the Confederates on this one. And you don't need to do anything to build your army. It's already built as it would have been. So we're going to go ahead and hit ready. And while this is loading, it's going to take a couple minutes. The mod itself comes with a PDF file that has the It's basically the instructions for the game. It shows you how to install it. If you're familiar at all with working your way around a computer, you'll be able to install it pretty easily. The other thing it does is it kind of breaks down all of these different modes, tells you how to do different things, even has kind of breaks down all the different types of units and what their strengths and weaknesses are, what their specs are. It tells you what to expect in the mod. And it even gives you some strategies, some tips, some hints. So it's definitely worth your while, as several people have said, to take the time to read through the manual before you really dive into this game. So I've taken the time to do that. And I just have to say, from top to bottom, whether it's the mod itself, the detail that's been put into it, or even the manual that has gone with it, fantastic job by the mod creator in doing all this. So I want to give him all the credit in the world for that. So here we go. There's no deployment phase like there is in other battles, because you get right into this battle. They're already deployed as they would have been at that time. So I'm going to pause for just a second to kind of show you around a little bit. So here we are. We're at the battlefield for 1st Manassas. First bull run, if you will. So I've got some artillery over here, Lynchburg artillery. You can kind of see. Here we go. We got General Beauregard, and he's right here. And it looks like we're up kind of on Henry House Hill, that area over here. And then we've got the troops who are way over here. For South Carolina, we got the 1st Louisiana Battalion, 2nd Mississippi, 4th Alabama, and you can see way off here in the distance is the one half of the Union Army that came down from this side. They've got some huge brigades. They did 2nd New Hampshire. You can see how big these units are. This is before the war took its toll on a lot of the size of the regiments. Here we go. We got some Zouaves over here, it looks like. Oh, no, it's the 1st Minnesota. Awesome. So the 1st Minnesota, wearing red. One of the things about 1st Manassas was there was really, on either side, no real standard uniform. So you had units in the Confederate Army that were fighting in blue. I think Stonewall Jackson had a brigade or a regiment wearing blue. You had units. There was a Wisconsin unit on the Union side that was wearing gray. So you kind of get a sense of everything here. Here's the bridge. They're getting ready to cross on the Union side. So I'm kind of spread out, as you can see. I got a lot of my units way down here at the edge of the map. I'm guessing this is probably where Stonewall Jackson's going to be. So we'll kind of find where all those things are. I'm not going to play this whole battle, but I'll at least give you kind of a sense of it. This is really just kind of a follow-up review to my first impressions to kind of give you a little bit more of the detail. There's Hampton's Legion. All right. So I think we'll go ahead and try to make a stand right here. So I just want to show a little bit more of the kind of the details as I'm finding my way around the game a little better. One of the things you can do is, well, you know what? Let me issue instructions to all of my units first. I'm going to actually bring all of my artillery up here. If you hit Control B, it selects all the artillery that you have in your entire force, which is really nice. So we're going to bring all of them back here, and then I'll adjust some of them. I'll put some of them in a different spot. Who I have over here. There's a button for selecting all your infantry as well, but I'm not going to do that right now. Oh, you can hear all the artillery coming in. Ooh, boy. I want to put some of this infantry right here. I think we can probably spread out a little more than that. You got to remember these units are bigger here than they are in some of the later battles. We got to get this whole brigade up there. Got a long way to go to get them into position over here. So I'm guessing they may not be in a position to get involved before things really get going. So I'll just get them moving in the right direction, and then I can adjust accordingly as they get a little closer. I'll bring these units over here for now. There's a lot going on here, so obviously I'm going to probably miss some people. Just trying to get everybody moving at the moment. Here's this. I'll close this here for now. General Beauregard, let's get him over here with the rest of my troops. Anyway, like I said, I'm really not trying to show a strategy for this battle. I just want to highlight some more of the features of the game, of the mod. So we'll start to do that a little more here. What is going on over here? Alright, so a couple of the other things that you can do here that are kind of cool. And this is true, I mean, this is the game in general, not just the mod. But it's a great way to familiarize yourself with your units. Is you can, any one of these units down here, you can right click on it and you can see who they are. So here we got the 49th Virginia of the 5th Brigade, of the Army of the Potomac, which is what one of the Confederate armies was known as. To confuse you a little more, the Army of the Potomac was a Confederate army at First Bull Run. The Army of the Potomac and the Army of the Shenandoah were the two forces that fought here on the Confederate side. I believe the Union Army was known, I think they might have been the Army of Virginia or the Army of Northern Virginia even. I don't remember that for sure. Let's look and see if maybe we can click on them. It's not going to tell us that. So anyway, you can see how many men, how much experience they have, their range, 100 yards on this unit here, accuracy, reloading skill, ammunition, number of ammunition that they have there, melee attack, charge bonus, defense, and morale. And then you can look at their abilities. You can see they have a socket bayonet, they can skirmish, they can hide in woodland, etc. So it just gives you a sense of what all your different units have to their in their playbook there, so to speak. I love the fact that you can hold down the space bar and kind of see where your units are being ordered, so that you know kind of what's coming and where they're going to be. And as you put units into the field, you can decide where you want to place them. I got to see who's not moving. Okay, we got a big regiment here that needs to get some orders. I'm trying to remember where I ordered the other units to go. Oh, it's right here. Okay. So we'll put this unit right there. So I can look down here across the bottom and see which ones aren't moving to kind of get a sense of who still needs to be given orders. "33rd Virginia Army of Shenandoah." Yeah. I didn't order any of these guys. I think this is the Stonewall Brigade here. Well, we'll get them moving, if only to at least get them up here. All right, and like I said, I have the graphics settings to low. When I'm playing a smaller battle, I usually have it on high. But just because I wanted to make sure this would still function decently with the number of troops on the field, I moved it. So let's see what's happening here. Looks like he's making his way here, and it won't be too long before we're engaged. I got to get my artillery up here. The artillery's taking forever. Is any of my artillery anywhere close at all? Doesn't. Oh yeah, I got two pieces coming up here. Here we go. The Staunton artillery. They're going to get up here and get into position. I'll be able to at least use them. I'm going to put them right back here. Let's make sure I'm. Yeah. And thank you for those of you who have been offering me some advice, some tips. That was very helpful. Ultimate General Civil War was the same way. You know, when I first started making videos for Ultimate General, I really was kind of a noob and completely clueless. And through playing, through a lot of hours spent, as well as the feedback from viewers who are watching the videos, you definitely helped me to get much, much better at the game. I know I've got a long way to go, but I appreciate all of that help and all of that advice. And I look forward to more of the same with this game. So this is where we're going to engage first. He's got a lot of artillery moving into position over here that's going to kind of cause me fits pretty soon. Let's actually go ahead and I'm going to put these guys right here. I've lost sight of some of his infantry, but I know that they're coming. Alright, let's go ahead and speed things up, and when we really get engaged, then we'll slow it back down. Alright, so I'm not exactly sure what happened, but before I've even engaged him, I've apparently killed one of his generals. Colonel David Hunter's been killed. He's one of their brigade commanders. Their artillery, which is way out in the distance still, is poking some holes in my line here. Or at least I thought they were, but it looks like maybe we're just kind of standing there in a funny way. We did lose, looks like I lost 7 men in this unit so far. You can see kind of the craters from the artillery that's already been fired. So there's something going on over here. The AI does this weird thing in this game where the artillery kind of goes running out in front of the rest. So I got my 18th Virginia firing on his artillery, which is just sitting there, and it looks like they're about to fire on me, but it doesn't look like they're going to get the chance. They're taking off. So there's that. So I don't know where his infantry's going over here, but I was expecting an attack that has not yet developed. I am getting my first artillery into position. They're just about there. And we'll be able to start returning fire as his infantry gets a little closer. This is kind of the part that I'm going to focus on. Just a little part of the battle here. Once they get up here and into position. I've got General Beauregard up here. I've got Colonel Francis Bartow, who's a brigade commander. And he's very soon going to get into position. Maybe. I don't know where his infantry's going. Looks like he may be trying to connect with the other half of his army. Alright, so it looks like we're ready to get the artillery into position here. Get them firing back on him as soon as they stop moving. Okay, let's unlimber those guys, start returning some fire. You can see the artillery shots coming in. Oh, there's his infantry. Okay, he's coming. Whew. I don't like being out in the open field like this, but that's just kind of the nature of this part of the battlefield. Let's start returning fire, guys. What kind of guns are these? Staunton artillery. I guess they're off the map here, or off to the side. There we go. Alright, so these are... No, that's the Rockbridge artillery. That's not them. Who's running? I don't even know who that is. Oh, it's because he's riding his artillery roughshod through my lines. Alright, we're about to engage over here, it looks like. Yeah, he's making his way around. He's crossing over here. This is kind of madness is what this is. And get them moved over a little bit. But this is the part I want to kind of key in on and observe. Alright. My artillery is starting to fire now. Looks like they're firing at whoever's over here. Seems to be doing the trick too, because it's hurting their morale. Oh, he's firing on their artillery. And now we're getting small arms fire on them too, so they're going to run in a minute here. Big mistake, boys. This is the 2nd Mississippi right here. I think I had some relatives in that unit. Come on, Mississippi boys. Pour it into them. Here comes some more artillery coming in. Looks like he's overshooting. Oh no, that's exploding in the air. Oh! Okay, he's overshooting still. That's good. So these are the future Louisiana Tigers. You can see their very distinctive pants. I love that they've recreated those in the game. Very cool. Come on, let's get his infantry going here. All right, now we're getting our artillery firing on his infantry. Overshooting a little bit. One of the things it says in the manual that I should point out here is that you don't want to keep changing your target with your artillery because the more the artillery fires on a particular target, the more accurate they will become, which, I mean, makes sense in real life, but you never know if the game necessarily does it that way. But that's what it says, so that's what I'm going with. And I don't know why he's lining up that way. I think he's just moving and trying to make room for the other units to come in. So it looks like that artillery's kind of out of things now. Their horses are riding off into the distance. Of course, I don't know how familiar you are with the history of the battles, but if you're watching this and you're not, First Bull Run, First Manassas was a pretty interesting day. Obviously, it was the first major battle of the American Civil War. And with that, it was fought on a Sunday, July 21st, 1861. It's like, I don't know, 25, 30 miles from Washington, D.C. And so with that, a lot of Washington society actually came out with their picnic baskets to watch the battle. Congressmen and their wives, lawyers, different well-to-do folks came out in their buggies and their picnic baskets and kind of made a day of it. And of course, when both sides thought that it'd be one big battle and then that would be it, but it was hardly that. But more men were killed, wounded, and missing from this battle than had basically been killed, wounded, and missing in most of the battles of the Revolutionary War. I mean, there were numerous battles. Let me take that back. There were a lot of battles during the American Civil War that on their own there were more casualties than in all previous wars combined. At the time of the first Battle of Bull Run, it was the bloodiest battle in American history, and it was nothing compared to the future battles that would come. And both sides kind of knew after this battle that they were in for a long, bloody war, and it was going to be ugly, as all feuds between families tend to be. But compared to future battles, it wasn't really all that bloody. I mean, you're talking maybe 1,000 people killed on both sides combined, which is horrible when you think about it, but really is very small when compared to a lot of the future battles of the Civil War. Is he coming or what? Looks like he's waiting for the rest of his troops to arrive. That's one thing with this game. There is a lot of hurrying up and wait kind of thing, especially in these larger battles, because you're waiting for the troops to get in position, which makes sense because that's how it was, and it gives you plenty of time for maneuvering. It just means that when you're making a video, there's not a lot of action at the beginning. A lot of artillery going on here. Alright, so I'm going to wait for these guys to get a little closer, and I will come back in when we're able to really start getting into this action. Okay, so here we go. I've gotten some more of my artillery into position. They're starting to fire. I don't know why these guys are here, but that's not the place for them. Let's get them over here. But the infantry's on its way. And it's about to get crazy. I'm going to try to get these guys over here out on a flank. I'll keep these guys back here for now. Run! So he's got some artillery right up here just parked on my flank, which is just crazy to me. Just kind of one of those quirks of the AI, but I'm gonna deal with them real quick here. I've got some artillery coming up, or some infantry coming up that's gonna deal with them. Because I want to focus on what's in front of me up here. A lot of artillery coming in from the enemy too. Louisiana Tigers, hold firm. We've already lost 21 men. You can see when they get into range. If we click on them, they're just about into range for my infantry. I gotta get these guys dealt with and out of here. Alright, we can see a little infantry action here. We're firing any second now. It's cool to be down here at this view because you kind of get the sense of what it was like for the men as they watched the enemy coming at them.
Our men are running, sir.
It's probably another unit where the... yeah, it's just that artillery. We're finally overrunning them. Alright, we got some more artillery into position here. Let's get them unlimbered and going. Alright. And I missed the first volley. Everybody's reloading. He's already under a lot of pressure. Got the first Michigan. A lot of fire going in on him right now. What are these guys? Oh, I don't like that at all. Alright, this is a lineup right there. Nice. Who was killed this time? Irvin McDowell, that's the commanding officer of the Army, has been killed. Why he was anywhere near combat is beyond me. There was only one Army-level commander who was killed, well, on the Union side, and that was General James McPherson, who was killed outside of Atlanta. Of course, on the Confederate side, they lost Albert Sidney Johnston at Shiloh. Come on, pour it into them, boys, South Carolina. Oh yeah, love it. And you can see, even with me having things turned down to the low graphics setting, it's pretty heavy on my system. Still gets a little choppy when the combat gets in there. So before I'm going to do any significant kind of playthroughs of some of these battles, I'm definitely going to have to look at upgrading my system to be able to handle the graphics of these larger battles. I've got a decent system, as I said, but certainly not high-end enough to be able to handle some of this stuff. But it gives you a sense of what the big scenarios look like, which is really what I was wanting to do, was to give you that sense. Some New Hampshire boys, looks like they're wearing gray, and they're facing away from the enemy, apparently. It's because they got two units mixed together. So the AI sometimes does some silly things in this game, but it doesn't take away from how fun it is to play at all, at least not for me. Oh, yeah. Look at that volley. He's just being torn to shreds right now. Of course, he's really concentrating on this side and kind of messing me up there. But I wasn't really looking to kind of play through the whole battle. You get the idea. I just basically wanted to show you some of that. Show you what a scenario looks like. That's really where the bread and butter of this game is. The meat and potatoes, if you will. Definitely worth checking out, especially if you've got a good system that can run it. I'm going to have a lot of fun playing through this on my own, just kind of exploring and getting to know some of the different battles. I'm really looking forward to getting into some multiplayer battles, which I think would be a lot of fun as you control maybe just one section, maybe a couple of brigades on a larger battlefield. I think that would really be just the best way to experience this. So I'm looking forward to that. So that gives you a little bit more of a sense of what the game has to offer. Still so much I haven't even covered, but I hope you like what you see so far, and I hope you'll check it out because it's certainly worth it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.